Hello guys, Sir Grindelot here. We have some work to do. I ran out of golden keys thanks to my fairly lucky grinding session. Well, not really grinding session, farming session. It's probably a better name. The one that gave me free enchantments with ability bonus. Two of them had a +2 and one of them had a +1 and 12 magic find, I think. That was the real highlight. Sort of. And yeah, we need to pick up some more golden keys because I don't have any. Now I have a total of 5 enchantments with +2 to all abilities. Unfortunately, none of them increase damage via intellect or magical damage, but you know, you cannot ask for too much. Eventually, I hope to find some enchantments like those, but I'm already pretty happy. And my current gear, I only used one of them. I put it here, bop, on the Chaos Band. The reason is that the previous enchantment, apart from the +1 to all abilities, didn't have anything going for it. And now it has +2 to all abilities, with nothing else going for it, which is still a fairly good improvement. And I'm dealing quite a bit more damage, like not insane amounts of extra damage, but it's sensible. It's a few extra billions. Percentage wise is like what, 2-3% extra damage, something like that, which is not bad at all. And the other one is on the equilibrium, because I mentioned that I got an astral equilibrium, and it basically had to fight for the spot in my gear for Kral runs with a regular equilibrium that had a +1 to all abilities and I believe a bit of magical damage. So the new one is an astral one, so it has better magical damage, but I was a bit worried. Will a +2 to all abilities provide more damage than an enchantment with +1 to all abilities and some magical damage? And it does. Very small difference, very small difference, but it provides a bit more magical damage. Will these two be enough for Kral? I mean, I will definitely be able to cut my best time by a bit, but I don't know by how much. I really doubt I will manage to reduce it below 3 minutes. I don't see it as viable at the moment, because I would need to cut it by 15%, and I did not improve my damage by 15% at all, like not even close. So I don't think it's going to happen. But we will see. I think that if a new time looks cool, let's say very close to 3 minutes or something like that, maybe I will make a video about it. But if I only cut 8 seconds, 9 seconds, I will not bother making a video. Maybe I will just make a remark somewhere in one of my other grinding videos. But it was nice. It feels good to improve gear. I mean, it's the purpose of the game. All of us who play it, we spend absurd amounts of time trying to improve our gear, and when it happens, it feels good. It feels really good. I wonder if the game will be kind enough to give me a golden key while I record, because my previous grinding session, which was, I believe, grinding to glory number 38, I didn't get any. Then off camera, after my daughter went to sleep, I managed to drop a few that I ran in my previous episode, and I got some nice enchantments and yada yada. Now I don't know how long it will take me to get a decent amount of golden key. If I drop some golden key while I'm doing this grinding session, I will run it right away. I will not save it. But if I drop some golden keys during the weekend, I will save them and make a video maybe Monday or Tuesday. Because during weekends it's very difficult for me to find the time to make a video and edit it and upload it and all this sort of stuff. Like, my videos requires little to no editing. I really don't do much. I only cut the beginning and the end, and I sync the sound from my computer with the sound from the phone, and then I mute the phone audio, and then what do? I put some music, and sometimes I notice that, oh no, I already picked this music for a previous video, but it's okay, it was for a month ago. Maybe no one will ever notice. I think a lot of people noticed it, but I don't have a catalog with like music that I used for my videos, music that I have not used for my videos. It's my music collection, mostly from Bandcamp. So I don't really have a way to keep track of what I use and what I don't use. And what else do I do in terms of editing? Not much, really not much. I take a screenshot of a point in the video to use as a thumbnail. And then the longest part is the processing. Because my computer is no good for processing videos. No good. Very, very slow. Mainly because of the video card. I use DaVinci Resolve, which is very good. But DaVinci Resolve likes to use a CPU and video card. And I have a good CPU, but the video card is trash because I'm on a non-gaming laptop. And so the performance is extremely slow. But I have no plan to get a desktop in the near future for a couple of reasons. One is that recently I never have a chance to spend time in my computer room, mainly due to the presence of my daughter in the house. And the other reason is lack of time in general. Like very often, oh my god, no, we're not doing this map. Very often after work, preparing dinner, having dinner, playing with the daughter, putting her to sleep, and then my wife and I have a shower and we start to relax a bit. I don't want to go to the computer room, turn on the desktop, worry about a lot of stuff. I lay on the couch and the laptop is on my belly, as it is now. And I either listen to some music through my headphones or play some game. And so a laptop suits me very, very well right now. And when I'm feeling so lazy that I want to handle the laptop, I use a small tablet on which I need to remind myself to remove AnimA, because I was reading that most of the people who have had issues with their online character, like being deleted or whatsoever, are people who play on multiple accounts. And on my tablet, the version is from months ago. Like, I have basically not used it for playing for months, just because the screen is too big. It's not very comfortable. But I thought, oh, it would be cool if every now and then I want to play on a bigger screen, or I want to do some multitasking, because it's a Samsung tablet. It allows a bit of multitasking. But then it turned out that I just prefer to play on the phone because it's easier to hold in my hand. And but yeah, I need to be careful. I need to remove the game, because so many people say, hey, I logged my online character from a different device and horrible things happen. So yes, I grind a lot. Note to self: remove a game from the tablet as soon as possible. I always think that those kind of issues should not happen, because everything should be saved on the Google Play database. I mean, my character is an online character, so whatever happens on my phone is irrelevant, but apparently it's not like that. Who knows? I'm really not in the meta for that kind of stuff, so I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense or if it doesn't, but the only thing that I know is that I'm not getting golden keys again, and we're already 10 minutes into the video. I will try to keep this video under 50 minutes, 50. And if after that I still have time to do some grinding, because today I'm home, I will have a separate video. Simply because AZ Recorder still has recording issues for longer files, and we don't like that too much. Oh, yesterday, on my commute back home from work, I almost had a small heart attack. Because I was farming for golden keys and I wasn't getting any. But I dropped a ring with the skin of a cow's band, and it was an astral one. I was like, oh my god. I opened the backpack and it was tier 6. And I started to think, oh, is it an Edona ring or my second astral cow's band? Is it going to be the second? And when I identified it, I couldn't see the Edona name. I got super excited because I thought, it's not the Edona, then it's the cow's band. And then my brain finally noticed that it was actually the Archine ring, which has the same skin. And it was like, oh, that's a Kabbalite. And yeah, it was a Kabbalite. What's this thing, a bow? I didn't see it very well. Is it the... it's not the Dragon Slayer, no. I'm playing at a weird angle because I have a laptop on my belly with the external microphone connected to it, and I'm trying to play in a way that my phone will not stay between my mouth and the microphone, or that would be an issue. Which means that sometimes I struggle to read the things, or to clearly see what happens on the phone, to be more correct. So, what's that? Yeah, it had that skin, and I really thought that it could have been the second cow's band, but no. I'm actually not too upset about it, because if I not really complain, but if I said for probably 2 weeks by now that the only 2 astral items that I need are an astral equilibrium and cow's band, and I got both of them basically within 2 hours off camera, some people would have been like, Sir Grindalot, wait a moment, where are these items coming from? I would have been very suspicious as well, so don't be too surprised about that. Because there are some things that are very weird when it comes to RNG in this game. Like, where is my character? I didn't know we could go behind that. Oh, cool. Like, not dropping a +2 all abilities enchantment for months. And then I got 5, I believe, in less than 1 month. 2 of which in the same video, which made no sense. But to a similar extent, there are times that I grind for golden keys for hours and I don't get any. And then I get them back to back. 2 dungeons in a row. I really don't understand. I know that the R in RNG stands for random, but it's the consistency that leaves me very, very confused. Even in games like Hearthstone that rely so much on RNG. Oh, I didn't notice we were at the Magister stage. There you go. I want to drop a bit of stuff to make space in the backpack. Like, when you play Hearthstone, there are several outlier situations, but there are some reliability effect in the RNG, apart from a few cards. But here it's absolutely absurd. Oh, by the way, for the first time since the release of the game, I uninstalled Hearthstone because I just couldn't handle it anymore. So what happened is I've enjoyed playing constructed Hearthstone for years. I have a huge collection of cards. Basically all the cards from the classic set, from the first few expansions, a ton of golden cards, legendaries, all the expansions and so on. But then over time, I started to lose a bit of interest in playing constructed, because every time that there is a constructed expansion, the first 2 or 3 weeks are great, and then everyone starts to play the same decks. Like net decking for me killed Hearthstone. And every time that a person comes up with a new deck that shakes the meta, suddenly everyone starts to play that deck or the counter to that deck. And basically to know what's going on in Hearthstone, sometimes I don't even need to play it. I can just watch videos. And there were... Oh no, I cannot reach that part of the map. I thought I was close enough to that. There have been some decks that I've enjoyed playing a lot over the course of the years in Hearthstone, like Control Warrior, Value Rogue, you know, the Galakrond Rogue, and some others. And I really played, I would say, thousands of hours of Hearthstone over the years. But eventually I noticed that the play modes that I enjoyed the most in recent years were the PvE single player modes, like the dungeon runs, because they had a roguelike component applied to Hearthstone, and I liked them a lot. I really liked them a lot. They're not a full-fledged experience like playing Slay Spire or something like that. But I found playing that kind of game with the Hearthstone cards that I know, and plus some new and unique cards, it was such a huge, such a good experience for me. I had a lot of fun with those, and they released a few different ones, all very similar in concept, but different mechanics, different enemies, and I had fun with those. But eventually I finished them, like completed them in every possible way, even using weird mechanics, and so I was hoping that they would release something like that, and instead they released Battlegrounds, which is weird. I played it, and I've been through many of its content patches. I reached rank 9000 something, but I've never been a huge fan of it, just because too much based on RNG. And then the recent patches for me killed it, because the RNG and the amount of damage that you take, and the high rolly characters, I mean high rolly heroes, they really made the game less enjoyable for me. And considering that I don't like constructed, so I'm not really looking forward to the regular card expansions now, I decided to just uninstall it. It saves me a lot of space on the computer. I don't know why Hearthstone takes up so much space on computers and smartphones. And I think I will keep an eye on the development, just to see if they release more game modes like those that I like. We shall see. It's definitely a fun game, but I wish that... So it's like I wish internet did not exist, so that people could not net deck the shit out of it. But then without the existence of internet, it would be difficult to play online, so... It's like a dog biting its own tail or something along the line. Or was it a snake eating its own tail? A snake swallowing it itself, I don't know. Hopefully you know what I mean. But I have to say that net decking has been going on since well before Hearthstone. Like I played Magic for years. Magic, the real cards, not the online game. Basically, since the first expansions hit the West, not the West, hit Europe, but after the alpha, beta, and unlimited. Unfortunately, I was not around at that time, or I would have bought a mountain, and I would be rich by now. But hey, golden key! Yeah, let's go. And there's always been a bit of net decking when the internet started, but even before then there were strategies, because it was easy to tell, okay, this card is clearly better than others, I will play it. This card is clearly better than others, I will play. And most of the opponents are playing that card, I want something to counter it. So there was some streamlining in the way decks looked. Where do we go? Oh, there. But I don't know, there is something about Hearthstone that every deck is a copy of another deck, like a copy of a popular deck up to the last card. It's something that bothers me a lot, and every match simply feels the same. I've never had that experience with Magic. One of the periods where I had the best success in Magic in tournaments was trash. Back when, what is it? The Odyssey block, Odyssey Torment. What was the third one? Oh, I don't remember the third one. Anyway, there was a card called Psychotog. It was a blue-black plus one colorless mana card, which was discard cards to gain stats until end of a turn, remove cards from your graveyard to gain stats until end of a turn. I've always been a blue main, so to speak, and sometimes with a splash of white, sometimes with a splash of black. And back in the time I was playing mostly with a splash of black, because there were a few very, very good cards. And when I saw that card, I was like, wait a moment. My decks are always full of card draw and counter spells, and I reach the end game every single time. Not really end game, the late game every single time, and I have a lot of cards in my graveyard. I could deal 20 damage with one single attack. And so I tried to play a couple, just, throw them in the deck, see what happens. And I was smashing people. So instead of playing 2 of those, I started to play 4. And I also centered the deck a bit around them, and I included a card which was called Upheaval, which was return all the permanents to each player's hand. And my idea was, after I have 15 lands on the ground, 15 or so, I play Upheaval, everything goes back to the hands, I save up 3 mana, I cast the Psychoetog. The opponent has 1 turn with 1 land that he can play to kill the Psychoetog, otherwise on the following turn I kill him. And it worked every single time. And I won I don't know how many tournaments, local tournaments, don't think about the big international tournaments with huge prizes, but the local tournaments with half a box set or stuff like that, I won a lot. And eventually that strategy was picked up everywhere, not because of me, but many players around the world started to develop the same strategy. But back in the time, people would not look online every day for new strategies. So it took a little bit of time, like a few months, before many pro players started to bring that card in tournaments. And in the beginning, most people were extremely skeptical of that card. And the previous most popular deck was called the Fires deck. It was based on a card from the Invasion block called the Fires of, and I have no idea the pronunciation of the last term, like Yamia, something like that. And that basically gave charge to all your creatures. And you could attack your opponent in the face for massive damage. And many people were going with that, but the Psychoattack deck, guys, was so good. And what am I going with that? The Psychoattack was good, and you should have played it. But mostly that card games were better before net decking made everyone play the same decks. Oh, my computer is telling me that it's running out of space as I'm recording the sound, but that cannot be good. It definitely cannot be good. Let's see if I can delete something. Well, I can delete these. These. Where you're witnessing, well, not really witnessing, you're hearing the process of me deleting stuff. You consider this a privilege. Okay. I think I can go back to play without the computer having a stroke because it's running out of storage. And another thing was the fact that in Magic, well, first of all, there was the sideboard. There is, I guess, but I've not played Magic in years. So you could expect... Whoa, another golden key. You could expect what your opponent was playing in the first game, but not in the following ones, because very often people put secret text in the sideboard. But more often than not, a 60-card deck would have many differences, because some people fell in love with a card and they would just play, even if it was not the optimal one. In the Masks of Arcadia block, there was a blue card called the Bribery. For 5 mana you could steal a creature from your opponent deck. Eventually it became a super popular card, but it took many years. Back then no one was playing it, because in that time in Magic people were not really playing big cards. But everyone, especially in Extended and Type 1, was playing the Morphling, which was arguably the best creature of the game back then. And Bribery meant that if they couldn't counter it, it was game over. And against decks with big creatures, you could just steal a big creature and suddenly for 5 mana you put on the floor a threat. And it worked. It worked many times for me. And very often I would use... oh, I don't remember the name of the card. Spike? Force Spike? Something like that in English. Like, force the opponent to pay an extra mana for a spell or for a card, or it's countered. I used to play a couple in every one of my decks. But we were not mainstream, so I got so many people off guard. Sir Grindalot only has 1 mana left over. He cannot use counter spell on my main strategy card that I'm not going to play. Oh, I just lost the game. Had a lot of fun with Magic, but eventually there was a time that I needed some cash. Sold my whole collection, and if I sold it later I would have made a lot more money for all the P9, the Power 9 cards, but eventually people cash out in Magic. Eventually people cash out. But I would have never guessed that cards would reach such absurd values. Some cards in Magic can be so expensive. Back when I was playing, it was around 150 to 200 euros for most of the Power 9 cards, apart from the Black Lotus. The Black Lotus was more like 350, more or less. And usually for the blue Power 9 cards, so Ancestral Recall, Time Walk, the Mox Blue, they would ask you an extra 50 or so. Time Twister not so much, because it was not an absolute must. Like, it was one of the few Power 9 cards that some people would prefer to cut, at least back in my time. Maybe if you're playing Magic now, some of the things that I'm saying may sound complete nonsense, but that was 15-20 years ago, so the meta has changed a lot, really a lot. So far in half an hour I got 2 golden keys. Not bad. Not bad for a grinding session. Both enchantments were bad, but the second one was like a lot of health and armor. Do I want to save it for... Nah, I will not save it for the Devastating Blow build. Because I spent some time saving all the enchantments with armor, health and stuff like that for the Devastating Blow build. And then I was like, wait a moment. Devastating Blow build, I think that the most important things will be skills. Because being a multi-class and with very specific gear requirements, you know, the katanas and some tanky pieces of armors, you are not going to have a huge skill bonus to your abilities. Which means Magic Shield and the passive armor bonus from Warrior will not be looking very hot. And so I think that once I decided to start really looking into the Devastating Bleed, I will have to look for those kinds of enchantments, which is not ideal. I mean, it's ideal for the build, but not ideal for hunting them, because even if recently I think they drop more often, they're still difficult to find. Most of the enchantments are trash. And for the Devastating build, for the Devastating Blow build, even those enchantments that increase damage are trash. So the amount of trash increases, which is bad, really bad. I don't know why, but I have a good feeling about this Magister. What's a Magister, by the way? What does it mean? I know a Master. The guy looks like a wizard. What's a Google! What's a Oh, right, I don't use Google, it's Google Assistant. Magister definition. A title or form of address given to scholars, especially those teaching in a medieval university. Oh, Jesus, basically we are slaughtering teachers, okay. Good to know. This game has suddenly taken a very dark turn. I was not expecting that. What the hell? Why is it called the Magister? What? No, my helmet is broken. It's over. It's over, guys. It's over. We will never see the end of this dungeon. Maybe. It's okay. As long as the weapon doesn't break, we're good. If a weapon breaks, that's a problem. It just means that after this dungeon I will need to port to town and repair stuff and recycle a few things in the backpack since we're there. Very big map. Yeah. Okay, let's go to town to repair the helmet. I wonder why the helmet is always the first one to go. Durability 30, 26, 30, 30. It's always the helmet though, I don't know why. Like I don't remember the last time that I had to repair a chest or a shield. It's always the helmet, sometimes the weapon. I broke the weapon a few times. Come on! Sometimes it's so difficult to click the icon. Oh, hello Equilibrium! Yeah, hello! +2 to all abilities, looks good. There's been some debating regarding Equilibrium or Chaos Band recently. In all my testing, the equilibrium was slightly better. Now, I think it's worth mentioning that in my testing, I don't consider the full bleed damage, because for farming this kind of stuff, bleed damage doesn't run its full course. And for Kral, very similarly, it doesn't keep ticking forever. Like every time that you apply it, it refreshes, and so what matters is it's the first tick, that extra damage that you deal at the beginning. Now, of course, when a Kral knockbacks you and you waste a bit of time to go back in position near it, having extra bleed damage applied to it is good, but the majority of the damage is the one that you give, that you deal spamming multi-missile and hitting. So I only focused on the damage of multi-missile and of the very first ticks of bleed. And Equilibrium has always been slightly better than a Chaos Amulet. Chaos Star? What is it called? I don't remember. So I decided to use the +2 to all skills on the Equilibrium, because it's my official Kral Amulet. Well, not yet, I've not used it yet, but it will be my official Kral Amulet. We are at 36 minutes. I think I will play for another 10-15 minutes. Then we'll have a break, have a few things that I need to prepare at home. Why was I dealing? Oh, there must have been a monster with the half damage debuff. Okay. Because I was basically dealing the same damage that I was dealing without the helmet. So my brain was not happy about the whole situation. I don't think that there should be any background noise, but it's raining very hard. Now the window is a bit far to my left, and I don't think the microphone should be picking it up. But if there is some ticking, some low volume ticking, that's the reason. Heavy rain. Talking about the rain, have you seen the flooding in the Philippines? Poor guys. They're having such a bad time with late typhoons, because this is not really the period for typhoons. It's very late, but the Philippines have had 2 in a row, and they've had such huge issues with flooding. Poor guys. Hopefully everything will be okay. I believe that they're kinda used to it, because it happens every year, but it's a disaster nonetheless, so hopefully they can recover well from it. Do I have a good feeling about this Magister? Not really. No, not this one. Yeah. So first half an hour, 2 keys. I mean, if the average was 15 minutes for a key, I would be very happy. My god, it's the last one. No, what have I done? I should have picked up an extra one from the bank while I was in town. Like, if I could get an average of 3 or 4 keys an hour, it would be okay. There are times that that's not the average at all. Oh my god. The last key in my backpack gave me this. Yeah, it's not the worst. There could be zombies instead of skeletons. But still, wow. Misclick. Still happens to me very often when I want to open the map. Yeah, this one will take a while. Why, devs? Why are you doing this to us? Can we get new maps? The pumpkin map was nice. It was not too linear. No, I mean, it was a bit linear, but it allowed for some less forced backtracking. So it was nice. Some new maps like that one would be good, instead of this kind of stuff. They should add them to the rotation of the keys. At least the new maps, you know, the Reincarnation 11 and above areas, they feel so wasted because apart from the last floor of the Magician Tower and some parts of the Blacklands, people don't really go there that much. But they're beautiful maps. Like there is one, what is it called? I don't remember at all. That is very good for the chest achievement. And then the Magician's Tower is beautiful. And even the areas right before the Magician's Tower, they look pretty good. It's a pity that like most of them are completely unused. Yay! Let's go to the Foolishness Land. Will this enchantment be sweet? Will it stay here? Like, don't even dare to put it in the backpack? We will see. Oh, also devs, give us new Astralium things. I have millions of spares. I want to buy new things. I don't need to transfer them to other characters. That would be too convenient. I know you don't like convenience in this game. But give us new things. Give us a new wheel. You can expand it very easily. Maybe they plan to do it for the eventual new content. Because when they release tier 7 gear, it's supposed to be in new areas. So maybe they will be very, very tough and we will all need some help to farm them. Because, I mean, let's assume for a moment that for tier 7 stuff will be a 10% chance drop rate from new areas at Reincarnation 21. And then going up to 22, 23, 24. Like, the gear we have now is not really good for farming that stuff. Yeah, you can do it with Devastating Build, but still takes quite some time. So maybe new Australian wheel bonuses will help us a bit. But we will see. We have a purple Mightiness. A pretty bad one. Yeah, I will leave it in the dungeon. To witness the horrors of all its dead brethren. Oh, this map gives me zombies so often, so often. It has to be a conspiracy. It has to be. There's a dev behind the shadows that, without telling any others, added a code line, a line of code that, like, when people open a Forgotten Realm key and they end up here, the chances of getting zombies increase by 57%. There's no other explanation, come on. And it's probably that line of code that causes all sort of bugs in the game. This one is even huge. Huge map. But should be okay. By the time I start backtracking, all those dumb zombies will be standing up in a conga line. So it's just a matter of teleport, multi-missile, teleport, multi-missile, and yeah, they all die. Now that we can damage them. Still not ideal. A fairly annoying waste of time, if you ask me. Ah, misclick. What level are we? 499, okay. Starting to feel very thirsty, but we are around 45 minutes. So I think I will run another key or two, and then along with my tea break I will have a break from the game. I'm not sure if later I will do another long grinding session, probably will not have time, so I will just look for some golden keys during the weekend. Hopefully I will get some. Hopefully, so that beginning of the next week I will have a golden key farming session, at least, well, a video. And then tomorrow and Sunday I will try to focus a bit on Kral, but it will mostly depend on the first few rounds, because my best time was, what was it, 3 minutes 27, 3 minutes 28, and if the best I can do is like 3 minutes 20, I will not bother too much to like keep attempting it forever until I get a small amount of knockbacks. No, that doesn't sound like a good plan. But if I could drop it below 3 minutes 15, I would be pretty happy. And from there I would need enchantments with skill bonus and magical damage or intellect bonus to do things even more quickly. Honestly, a second Astral Chaos Band would make no difference. I think the one I'm having was a 50 magical damage points off an Astral one, so an Astral one would not would not be the game changer for killing Kral in under 3 minutes. I think. Whoa! Another one. Interesting. Nice drop rate today. Like, I will be very happy once I can kill Kral in under 3 minutes. Because according to my estimations, which are more guesstimation to be honest, to go well below 3 minutes, the only way is to have +2 tool skills on every piece of equipment, but it also needs some intellect and magical damage. And so far I have not seen any at all. So I'm not sure how long it would take for that. But the good news is that if the best that I can do is, let's say, under 3 minutes, and all the new enchantments that I drop, even if, you know, those with +1, +2 to all skills, even if they don't make any difference for me for my Kraus run, I can put them in the bank and save them for new gear. New gear that we will all eventually need. So, it's a win-win. Would it be a good idea to stop the video after this key? I think after this one I will run one more. Oh wow, we're at 50 minutes, which is around the time Easy Recorder starts having strokes and aneurysm. So I think, yeah, I will quit after this this golden key. We get our sweet enchantment. Is it the 4th of this session? That's quite a lot. Or 3 or 4, I don't remember. I think it's the 4th one, yeah. 4 in 1 hour is pretty good. And endurance, purple. A lot of vitality and health and magic fine, yeah, nothing I'm interested in keeping. But it was okay, it was okay. 4 golden keys, nothing good, but at least we had a try. Made some cash, made some cable. It's not extremely useful session, but it was nice nonetheless. I like when I do farming session and I can see golden keys, at least. they seem worthwhile. Then if you get bad enchantments, it's okay, that's part of the game. But at least being able to actually get the golden keys feels good. This is your grinder checking out. Wishing you all a happy grinding, a happy weekend, and I'll see you guys next time, probably next week. Bye, take care.